Hello, Jim's like, oh, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a little while. At least I feel like I haven't. You're on time today, too. I haven't even been streaming for a minute. That's good to hear, Jim's like, I'm doing okay. Happy Martin Luther King Day, Mark. Hi, guys. Good morning, Jelly Star. Thank you, Jelly. The reason I laughed is because I've worn my hair up now for, I think, 3 days in a row. This thing happens where if I wear my hair up for the first day, it kind of looks like whatever, kind of whack. But then the longer I wear it up, the more like sporadic it looks. Probably from sleeping in it like that, but I'm a fan of it up for several days too. Also, it's just a lot easier for me to deal with. But I have to take it down today, I think, to wash it. So, not excited about that. But yeah, thank you, Joey Star. Oh, guys, today is Martin Luther King Day, which means that you can park on the street for free without a permit. Also, I think the post office here in Alhambra is closed. I actually almost didn't stream today because I figured I'll take the holiday off. But then I thought about the people that come into the stream. And I was like, if you don't live in the States, do you know even what Martin Luther King Day is? Do you even know who Martin Luther King is? Such a regional hero for us. So um, I thought for those people, I'd stream anyway. Dang, you're still working today, Joey. I sing much? Not in the stream, not on the YouTube streams, but I sang. I would say on most of my last release. There were more songs with vocals than there were instrumental tracks, which was actually kind of a switch for me because usually I lean more towards instrumental tracks and I'll occasionally add vocals. And when I do add the vocals, I'll usually feature another vocalist. But in my last two albums, there's quite a few tracks that have vocals from me. Ego Death and Quick Breath are the name of those two albums, Leo. How is it working with people? I mean, do you ever work in close proximity with people that are on vacation? I have like this interesting, not necessarily interesting, but particular expectation from people on vacation, which is that sometimes they can be great. Sometimes people that are on vacation can lack a certain amount of groundedness that can make people unpleasant, but sometimes that groundedness gives people common sense. Sometimes people on vacation behave like children, very petulant and kind of selfish. Whether they're in a restaurant or in a clothing shop or in a theme park, it kind of doesn't matter. But they can be pretty inseparable. I believe this. Jesus, Jeeps. Were the playoffs really upsetting yesterday or something? Is that why people were fighting? Are the playoffs ever not upsetting? Any violence where I am? No, just the regular amount of Los Angeles violence. I mean, there's always fights. But I wouldn't say that they were particularly increased. over a sport you're not even playing, being that invested in somebody else's whole thing. Like you're not even making any money from sitting at home watching it. I guess unless you're gambling on it. But people just be arguing over somebody else's career, which is weird. Oh, Leanna's here. There's a song called Embrace. I very rarely play it in streams, but I used to play it live every show. That was kind of like a mainstay in my live show. Um, hello, is it Rayleigh? I'm really sorry if I mess up anybody's name. The phone is kind of far away, and the font is really small. Harvey video where he was talking about chicken. That was the same chords and melodies from that. Hello, Ava. How are you doing? Happy Martin Luther King Day. Oh, you're feeling better today. That's good. I've got a busy week myself, too, Ava. I'm kind of taking today as kind of a chill day, though, instead of evenly spreading it throughout the week, which probably isn't a good idea. But here I am. I almost didn't stream though today, Ava, but I'm glad I did. I hope your weekend was good. I guess today is Monday, isn't it? This song's called Double Let's. You know what's something that's interesting? Okay, so I play Beneath the City a lot. Sorry, Into Thin Air a lot. This song. I'm never gonna not get those mixed up. Anyways, I play Into Thin Air a lot, which is this song. That one. That song, I made a video for that song, like a little music video, and I shot my plane taking off from Hong Kong airport, and that's what I used to kind of like score. I basically scored that video to make that song. And where I live in Los Angeles, I don't live like beneath the flight path of LAX, but I live just far enough away from it where I can see every plane that comes in and out of LAX, but I don't hear them. It's like the perfect medium. And so usually when I'm playing that song, I'll kind of look out and just wait for a plane to come by because it's LAX, so there's always going to be a plane like every, yeah, I'm looking at one right now. There it is. Yeah, there's always going to be a plane like every 5 minutes or so. And so I just pretend that I'm scoring that plane. It's a very flighty song. Same thing with Flight Plan. I have a lot of songs about flying. Maybe I'll venture into writing songs about trains. I don't have very many songs about trains, and I love trains. I spend a lot of times on trains. Anyways, this song is called Double Let's. Do you still remember the time you made Bon Bon? Uh-oh, this is a long one. Hold on. Let me touch it so it comes back. Made Bon Bon, it's one of your best music. The time you made Chiptune is still one of my greatest airs of Omniboy. If you still remember, how do you feel about it? Oh, of course I still remember that song. I'd like to think I remember all my songs, but we both know that's not true. But I do remember Bon Bon. How do I feel about it? I guess proud of it. Same way I feel about most of my songs. Proud of it. However, Bon Bon is so long ago now. I wrote that song in, 2015? So it's almost... It was like mid to late 2015, so... The song is... Was it 2015? It might have been 2016. Anyways, that song's about 5 years old now. So, it's a lot harder for me to identify with that music. You talk about like the chiptune era of Omniboy. It's very hard for me to identify with that because it's so old, right? A different person made it. I'm not that same person anymore. So it's a little bit harder for me to identify with that music because I'm just so far removed from it. But I would say that I'm still proud of it. Yeah. Good question. Good question. Also, thank you for listening to Bon Bon. classified as dream pop before though, but I don't know if it was accurate. I think it's like how old people will call like Dead Mouse techno. Like it's just not accurate. Well, Dead Mouse does have a techno side project, but for the sake of argument, let's pretend that it doesn't exist. Leo, do you make dream pop? Ooh. That song's called Double Lutz. I'm still working on that. The end of the bridge. That's why I think the chord progression should be. No. It's just hard to play while doing the melody for right now because I haven't practiced it very often. I just added that part like 2 streams ago. What are some places that you go to that a lot of people might run into you at? Says Mad Cat. Where are some places that I go to a lot? I mean, I live in Los Angeles. I go to downtown a lot. I go up to the Line Store maybe once a week, which is in Hollywood, like on Hollywood Boulevard. I go to the library a lot. But the library is very big. I've been in the library a lot of times at the same time as people, and they're like, I think I was at a library today. You said you were there, but it's really big. It's got like 6 floors. It's got like an atrium and stuff like that. It's really easy to get lost in there. But I would say people would run into me at the library, on the subway. Take the subway a lot. Boba shops around my area, like my neighborhood. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a creature of habit. I kind of just go to the same few places every now and then. But then I'll go pretty far, like to Redondo Beach. Oh, yeah, Redondo Beach. Besides planes, what other things? Besides planes, what other things give you inspiration to write music? Oh, because you spelled planes different. I was like, planes? Like the Great Plains? Besides planes, anything. Honestly, anything gives me inspiration to write music. It's not very distinct or succinct, I should say. Planes, food, travel in general, languages, people, clothing, video games, books, movies, TV shows. Lots of stuff. Double Lutz was written by me. I almost said it was written by Leanna. Goodness, I'm just giving away producer credits now. Anyways, it was named by Leanna. Leanna did name that song. But, trying to get that bridge down right. There's a lot of my songs that I can kind of play without thinking about because I play them so often. Things like Spring Street, Flight Plans. Double Lutz is not one of them. I would say that Double Lutz is one of my more complicated pieces of music. Not necessarily in practice, but in arrangement. compared to the things that I normally like. Even Over and Under, I would say is cluttered, a cluttered arrangement, but not at all like technique difficult for me to play. Holy crap! There's so many of them. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to. Can you see them? It's a bunch of parrots. That's what that sound was. Sorry. Anyways, that was distracting. We can just try to ignore them for the rest of the stream. Um, Over and Under. That's what I was playing. Why outside mic? Do you remember when you turned popular music into chill hop type music? Is any of that coming soon? What are you talking about exactly? When I turned popular music into chill hop type music? I don't think crows like parrots. Judging off of this interaction, I don't think crows like parrots very much. Sorry, somebody asked a question. I was in the middle of answering something. Turning popular songs into chill hop songs. If you're just talking about remixes, yeah, I have a couple of remixes that I have finished that are just not released. But I don't know when they're going to be released. Um, it's kind of like a side thing. It's not like my priority, so I don't have a proper release schedule for them. I apologize for that if that is a thing that you hear about a lot. Oh yeah, you're talking about the remixes. I wouldn't necessarily call those songs chill hop. I think that's where I got confused. Those songs are house songs. The Gucci Gang song is just a house song. That's that you call that house music, and then the yeah, the This Is America remix is also a house song. Those are house remixes. Um, but yeah, I don't even have any original music coming out super soon. I have to take time to write these things, right? And I just haven't had a lot of free time. I've been working on a lot of stuff. Mad Cat. Do you do remixes, Mad Cat? By any chance? Ooh, I just almost witnessed an accident. Here in my cul-de-sac? bunch of model planes around their house. They have all those little tiny ones. Do you have perfect pitch by any chance? I get asked that more often than you would think. I do not have perfect pitch though. I do not. I don't know that I have perfect anything. How do I not have perfect pitch? I think a lot of people don't have perfect pitch, Mad Cat. I actually think it's pretty common to not have it. Sorry. Sorry, I got distracted by the crows again. I think it's pretty common to not have perfect pitch. I think it's actually a rare thing to have it. I think. I don't know. I haven't done any research to just say that. Oh, how do you play piano? With my fingies and my ears. You can play piano without having perfect pitch, Mad Cat. Mad Cat. Mad Cat. Mad Cat. You don't need perfect pitch to play piano. Those two things are not really related. Like, there's a lot of people with perfect pitch that can't play piano. And without music theory. Oh, Mad Cat. Mad Cat. No. You don't need either one of those things. You're naming a lot of things that aren't related to piano. It's kind of like how, right, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder can play piano without looking at it. Eyesight, while it probably can help you play, you don't really need to be able to see the piano to play piano. Which is why even a lot of times I'll be looking out the window while I'm playing piano. Eyesight can help, as of course music theory can help, and perfect pitch can also help you play piano, I imagine. But you don't need any of those things in order to play piano. All you need... Do you even need fingers? I mean, fingers help. Let's say you need fingers. I know there's probably somebody that can play piano with their foot, but let's just ignore that very, very talented person for like 2 seconds and say you need fingers. Fingers are kind of important to play the piano. Especially if you're going to be playing the pedals down, you got to need feet for that. If your feet are up here, what's down there? So let's say you need fingers. And let's say you need to be able to hear. You need to be able to hear, right? Mad Cat? Mad Cat? Can you hear me, Mad Cat? You need to be able to hear in order to play the piano. It helps so much. It's imperative, I would argue. Playing with your fingers and hearing with your ears is very important. You, Mad Cat, probably do a lot of things that you haven't had formal training or theoretical knowledge of, right? You can skateboard without having to know physics, know exactly what is happening to the board while you're on top of it. You don't need to know physics to skateboard. You don't need to know music theory to make music. In that same way, people that have perfect pitch, right? People that have perfect pitch, probably it helps them make music. There's people that claim to have like the perfect eye. They have the photographer's eye, the director's eye. They can like perfectly like block scenes and shots. You know, you don't have to be able to do that though. You don't really need it. So music theory, Mad Cat, is the theory of music. But when we come up with a theory for something, Mad Cat, it means the thing already has to exist before we try to come up with a theory for it. Like the theory of relativity. Relativity has been around for a very long time. Relativity, the concept, you know, it predates man. But then man came along and we decided to try to explain it with something called the theory of relativity. Don't need to get too deep into it, but it's always thing or concept and then theory later. Theory, we have to explain this thing we just figured out about. We have to explain the sun. We have to explain music. So music theory came after music. It's not like we came up with music theory and then used that recipe to create music. So, by that argument, music had to predate theory. So, I can make music without knowing theory. And the same way that you, Mad Cat, can make music without knowing theory. It's not a necessity. It's something that could help, absolutely. I would never argue that it couldn't help, but it's not something you need. It's not something you need to make music. Um, there are a lot of people that know how to speak a language but can't write it or read it. I actually used to not understand that. When people were like, "Oh, I grew up in a Spanish-speaking home, so I can understand Spanish. I just can't really speak it that well." And I'm like, "What does that even mean?" Or they'll say, "I can speak and understand Spanish, but I can't write it." And I'm like, "What? That doesn't even make any sense to me." Now I get it. Now I get it because I can play piano all day. Could I write? Could I write key lime? If you gave me like a staff paper and like a pencil, could I write key lime? No, absolutely not. But I made it. Hmm. I picked up Street Fighter V again this time using the fight stick. Transitioning from using a controller is pretty complex for me in a way that learning the piano with both hands was hard. Ah, indeed. And I'm sure, Joey Star, I am absolutely positive there is a theory to that. There's a theory to everything. Don't underestimate people. People like to theorize about everything. There's fighting game theory, there's FPS theory, there's theory behind muscle movements and techniques in order to get really good at something. Like yo yo, you can actually take a class on yo yoing. Remember yo yos? I say it as if they're gone. They're still around. People are still very good at it. You can take classes on yo yoing, or you could just buy a yo yo and mess around with it and then get very good. And then one day you'll be very good at yo-yoing, and people will say, "How did you learn how to do that?" And you'll say, "I don't know. I had a yo-yo and I got bored, so I spent time messing with the yo-yo, and now I'm pretty good at it." And they say, "Well, how can you be good at yo-yo without taking yo-yo theory? You didn't even take any courses on yo-yo. Who was your yo-yo instructor?" And they'd say, "I didn't have one. I was my own yo-yo instructor." It's possible, Mad Cat. See, when I'm playing piano, Mad Cat, I'm playing basically a game. It's like a video game. I'm pressing buttons, and those buttons make certain things happen. Have you ever played a video game for the first time, Mad Cat? I know the answer is yes. You know when oh, I love this analogy. You know when you pick up a video game? I don't know how long you've been playing video games, but video games used to come with a little booklet in it. You would take out the booklet, and the booklet would have like a drawing of a controller, like the PlayStation controller, for example, with little lines coming off of each button saying jump and crouch and like aim and shoot and run, all that stuff. I never once used that thing. I remember like throwing it in the garbage, unless it had cool art on the back, in which case I would keep it. But it usually didn't, so I'd throw it in the garbage. And then I would turn on the game, and I would just hit all the buttons. And I'd be like, okay, that button jumps. This button doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe it does something later in the game. Turns out it did, but you just press the buttons. You figure out how to play the game that way. And then before long, you're very good at the game because you know certain techniques, certain skills, certain combinations of buttons do certain things. Learn by doing. Indeed, Leanna. I tried to teach my dad how to play. Crap, what was that game? I think it was Army of Two. I don't know if you guys remember Army of Two, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. But it was a third-person shooter game, and you guys have played Xboxes. Xboxes? You guys have played an Xbox. You guys have played a PlayStation before. You know there's a lot of buttons, and if you're in a shooting game, there are so many things that you do almost naturally that are actually really complicated things. The act of aiming, holding down one button to aim, and moving one joystick to run around, and moving the other joystick to look around, and using the other button to shoot, you're doing four things simultaneously, and you're like calculating for drop, and you're calculating if the person's running this way, you're kind of trying to follow them. You're doing a lot. It's actually a very complicated process. Trying to teach my dad how to do that, somebody that's the last game they played was Pac-Man, was too much for him. He was like, this thing has like 50 buttons on it, and I gotta hold this while pressing this, and I gotta do. It was too much for him. Just the idea of kind of nudging a joystick and walking, and then holding it down all the way to run was like, my dad was like, no, never mind. This is too much for me. You enjoy your game, son. I'm out of here. And I thought about that, and I was like, oh, this is probably only really easy for me because I have so many years of playing video games. As games got more and more complicated, I was kind of right there with them. In Mario, you can kind of hold a button to sprint, and then pressing that button, jumping while sprinting, you're doing three things at once. Running forward, sprinting button, and jump button to jump further. Small things like that were kind of training me for more complex things down the road. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply that to piano. When I first got a keyboard, I wish you could have heard me play. I wish you could have heard me play Mad Cat. It was trash. It was absolute garbage. I didn't care. I was having a good time. But it was trash. It was trash. I didn't know I could play more than one note at the same time, so I didn't. I didn't know how. It was just I would hit some notes up here and then some notes down here. I also never hit the black keys because they were very scary and I didn't know how to use them. But over time, I started to learn you can hit two notes at the same time. You can hit three. This is a chord. You can hit the black notes. It sounds weird, but I kind of figured out a way to incorporate them in my own playing. Don't underestimate yourself as a human, Mad Cat. Don't underestimate how little you actually need in order to improve at a task. The body learns. The brain can learn, right? The brain can learn, but the body learns. The body knows things. My body now, including my ears, right, and my eyes, know what kind of sounds good together. And I'm always learning every day. In fact, just a couple of days ago, Leanna can attest to this, while I was playing doublets, I messed up. There was a part in the song that's supposed to go. Bear with me, guys. Then it starts over like that. But I had a finger slip yesterday while I was playing this part, where I went. That chord, but I hit that on accident. And I was like, that actually kind of sounds good. I can walk it up. So I'm always learning every day new things that can fit. And a lot of times, embarrassingly, it just comes from mistakes. My finger will slip and I'll hit something kind of wrong and I'll think, well, maybe I can make that work. You know, this is my body and these are my ears, these are my eyes learning things. Is there a name for that, Mad Cat? Is there a name for this chord? Absolutely. Is there a name for the key that I'm playing in? Yes. Is there probably even a name for this technique that I'm doing? Yes, Mad Cat. There's names in theory for all of it that came after somebody did that. So, I'm saying don't underestimate yourself. Do you need perfect pitch? No. Do you need lessons? No. Do you need money? Not really. Do you need your eyesight? Lots of people would argue you do not. These things probably aren't that imperative to you being able to play. So when you say, Omni, you don't have perfect pitch, you don't know music theory, how can you play? You know exactly how I can play, Mad Cat, because you've done a lot of very complicated tasks without having classes or theory. You've done a lot of things or are currently doing things I can't do. I wouldn't even know how to begin to know how to do. Sometimes I see people draw that have never taken a course, you know, they didn't go to art school. And I'm just looking at their drawing and I'm like, how? Because I also drew for a little while. I had like a phase where I was just doodling on every single thing I came across. I was uploading stuff to DeviantArt. Was it trash? Of course it was trash. But I didn't stick with it, you know. Music was the thing I stuck with, so my music became less trash over time, but just don't underestimate yourself. You can do a lot of wild things without the things you think you need. Speaking of need, I am hungry. My dad used to whip me in Tekken on the PlayStation 1, but then I couldn't hang and got mad. PS4. Ooh, what happened? What happened? Do the skills from Tekken 1 not transfer very well to the new stuff on Tekken 4? I mean, on PlayStation 4? Oh, heavens, heavens, heavens. I want to see the DA trash. Maybe on a stream one day I'll like show my DeviantArt. It was trash. Matt but saying you don't need all of that, it's 100% harder and it takes way much time. It takes much more time, I assume, is what you're saying. Not necessarily, Matt Cat. Not necessarily. You're putting a lot of credence into those things. Would it take much longer? Not necessarily. There are people that take piano courses, right? That have been taking piano courses and still are not able to write the stuff that I'm able to write. And I took none. And we've been playing the same amount of time. It's not the same. Don't do that. Just don't put these like weird like limitations on the person. People can do anything. And it could be a short amount of time too, or it could take forever. I have a friend who I'm not gonna say her name now because I realize this is gonna be saved on YouTube and she might see it and then get mad at me. But she is a classically trained violinist and she's amazing. She's amazing at violin and just at being a human being. She's a really good person. But we obviously have two very different paths on music, right? Her path in music is she is good, and can read. She can like sight read and do all this stuff, but she can't make a song to save her life. She could never make a song. She doesn't even know where to begin. She also can't improv. If I'm playing these chords and I'm just like, hey, can you just like jam with me? Hey, just like mess around on these chords. I'm just gonna be playing two chords. She can't do it. That isn't to say that she's bad at violin. It's just to say that she's in kind of a different. She's in more the classical road of doing that, and she's been playing music for so much longer than me. But the focus is different, right? The focus is different. I'm over here in a much more creative kind of freeform space, and she's in a very rigid space. She knows certain things that she was taught not to do because it was wrong or ill-advised or didn't come up very often in classical music. So if I do it on piano, I think her brain, well, I know her brain because she's told me so. She's like, her brain tells her, like, you shouldn't do that. Like, that's bad. Going from that chord to that chord, you probably shouldn't do that. Or you shouldn't do this. This is like a kind of a no-no. This is taboo in music. You shouldn't do those things. But me, I don't have the education to even think certain things are taboo. So I kind of just do whatever. And it's worked out for me so far. But a lot. I mean, I went to NAM yesterday. No, 2 days ago, and there's a lot of amazing musicians there. Right, Adam Neely was there too, which was kind of nice. But there's a lot of amazing musicians there, and it's so interesting how we all kind of are good at music. We're good at doing the thing that we know how to do, but we have such a wild variety in paths to get there. You know, there's people that were 6, 7 years old that were in piano classes. There's people like Corey Henry, who's amazing at keyboard. That there's like videos of him where he's like 6 years old playing at the Apollo, like playing organ. And then there's people that don't like pick up guitar until they're like 35. They pick it up just out of boredom, like needed a hobby, and then they end up getting like really really good. There's people that you know don't do music at all in high school, and then do it immediately after they get out of high school. I'm talking about myself. Anyways, before I figured out my username for life says not here. Cocoa Puff. Cocoa Puffs. You know what? I really don't like Cocoa Puffs. Not a fan. Alright, this song is called Spring Street. I am so hungry, guys. Right after the stream, I gotta walk to the market and buy some bagels. You'll try, Mad Cat. You will succeed, Mad Cat. I can see it. I can see it in my third eye. Every time I see you in a stream, Mad Cat, I think of a very, very awful fight I had with one of my friends. like, like we were just like straight up beating on each other in my living room. significant enough time on Facebook enough to like benefit from having it cleaner. Wow, 6 years? That's a win. Whoa! My mom would say that they were lie bumps too. Huh. I thought my mom made that up. I guess not. I guess that was just like a popular like old people thing to say. Sorry. You know what's so stupid about that? Yeah, it's like everybody in my church would like make fun of me and laugh because they say they were lie bumps. But it posited a really weird reality in which like God was just like handing out plagues to anybody that was like telling lies, something like that. Like, yo, here's a bump on your tongue. Yo, here's a rash on your tummy. Stop eating. Like just like a really weird punishment system. Anyways, that song was called Spring Street. I should start going over news now because we are over time. Guys, I have 2 new albums out. Somebody earlier in the stream asked if I sang ever. I don't know if they're still here, but if they are, now I'm going to talk about some of those songs. I have 2 albums. One's called Ego Death. The other one is called Quick Breath. You can find them both on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify. Sorry, I have like this really weird thing with Spotify lately where I feel like my song keeps getting added to like playlists and then immediately ripped off. I don't know what's doing it. But I did hear my music in a boba shop yesterday, and I'm thankful for it. So thank you, whoever put my music on a boba playlist. Was there me singing on Quick Breath? Yes. Yes, there was. I'm the voice on Chocolat, if you listen to Quick Breath. That's me. Also, I'm on the song Close Down. I'm on the song. I made the song. I'm also singing on Close Down. Basically, I sing on. If you hear a voice on Quick Breath that isn't Abby Press or Mia Gladstone, which are 2 clear woman voices, it's my voice. It's me. Have I tried Happy Lemon? I have tried Happy Lemon, Leanna. Happy Lemon Leanna. I'm okay with it. I'm not in love with it, but it is very nice. However, it is a little bit further away from my apartment than most of the other like boba and tea shops, so I kind of just walk to something close by. But I do like Happy Lemon. It is very nice. Quick Breath is one of those albums that is out on streaming sites right now that we were talking about, which I do sing on. Another one is called Ego Death. Now, Quick Breath is more dancey and upbeat. Ego Death, on the other hand, is more ambient and chill. They were actually supposed to be the same album, but I just split them into two, which is like one's kind of upbeat, one's downbeat, and so they're two releases, 7 tracks on each. They can be found on Bandcamp, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Apple Music, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube, which are on right now. And I also have some like little music videos that I shot on YouTube, like "Beneath the City" or "Into Thin Air" or "Hush Hour," which is the song that I'm going to be playing the last in the stream. I have some merch coming out this year, yay yay, on that. And as far as shows, I have been booked for some things, but I'm not allowed to talk about them yet because they're still kind of unannounced. However, there is going to be a meetup this Friday in Little Tokyo. It's a meetup for Sidewalk Talks, a platform that interviewed me a couple of years ago. But it's also going to be a meet and greet for like San Holo's going to be there, and so it's like a if you like boba and you like me or AO Beats or San Holo or any of those type of artists, we'll be there hanging out. But I wouldn't say that that's officially a show. I am going to be there. I'm probably going to play a couple of songs, but it's going to be like a really chill thing. I don't even think that there's like tickets. I think you can just like walk in. I think it's going to be really laid back. My favorite vocals is on "Open Up," and that's also my favorite song off of Ego Death. Awesome to know that it was you singing. Oh, hmm. Yeah, I never play that song or sing that song ever anymore. So I'm really glad that you like that. It doesn't come up too often. Thank you. I appreciate you. But yeah, you can find those on all the platforming the platforms that I just named. Merch later this year. I'm gonna be in Little Tokyo at a place called Milk Plus Tea this Friday. I'll post the flyer and everything like that. Maybe tomorrow. Taking a day off today. And as far as streams, guys, they happen here every morning, every weekday morning anyway. Gotta take the weekends off. I usually take holidays off too, but today I felt like I was gonna do one. Open Up is very cinematic to me, and it feels like it would fit perfectly in the movie Lost in Translation to me. Don't know why. Haven't seen that movie, but I appreciate that. The the mood for Ego Death was a very cinematic and ambient thing, so I'm glad that that feeling or mood translated properly. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody in the stream. If you enjoyed the stream and you would like to be in more, I am here every weekday morning at 9 a.m. If you hated this stream and you were saying to yourself, ew, gross, what a waste of time, I don't want to be here anymore, I don't know how you made it this far, but I am grateful that you stuck around. I'm grateful that you stuck around. Probably won't make the next year's streams. The next few streams, I'm having surgery in a couple of days. I'll miss you guys. Good luck, Joey, on your surgery. Good luck. I have only had surgery once, and we'll talk about it maybe after you have your surgery. But I've only had surgery once. And so I hope yours goes well. I'll see you when you get back. Everybody else. This song is called Hush Hour. I wrote this song in Hong Kong. I also shot the video for it in Hong Kong, which is on my YouTube channel. I recently went through and like actually cleaned up my YouTube channel. So like the morning medleys are in their own playlist on my page. My remixes are in their own playlist on my page. It's like the Lush Dream songs, the Speed Dream songs. I'm trying to make it more easy to navigate so it's not just a mess of videos. Especially now that I'm doing these morning medleys so often, it can kind of get a little cluttered. Thanks for being in, Joey Star. Thank you everybody for being respectful to me. It means a lot. And thank you for being polite to each other. It's very important. Enjoy your Martin Luther King Day, and I'll see you here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Hello, everybody. Bum bee bum bee bum ba dum bum.